The first chapter we are going to study is simple interest and the compound interest. You might have been studied in your arithmetic. Standard angles and allied angles, for this it will be 6 marks. So totally for trigonometry we will have only 15 marks. 15 marks from trigonometry part, that is from unit 3. In logarithms, 1 mark 1 question and 3 marks 1 question and 1 5 marks questions, totally 9 marks. Hello dear students, welcome to this session of first PUC Basic Maths Introduction class. I am Mr. Niranjan, Faculty, Department of Mathematics, Vidhyaashram PU College, the Temple of Excellence. Today I am going to discuss regarding the detailed syllabus of first PUC Basic Mathematics, the question paper pattern and the blueprint for this basic mathematics. Now the topics for this session I am going to discuss today is the scope of the syllabus, textbook for references, division of syllabus, weightage chart and the question paper pattern. So the blueprint as well as the question paper pattern I am going to discuss. Now the textbooks for the reference. So what is the scope here means, just with this help of basic mathematics you are going to be able to understand the concepts of sets, relations and as well as the divisibility criteria, and in commercial mathematics like finding the interest, simple interest, compound interest and all those things. Now what are the textbooks we are using for the reference? The reference books are prescribed by the NCERT, that is PU board, basic mathematics, which is from the Department of Pre-University. This is NCERT textbook, and another book is from Vidhyaashram Pre-University College, basic mathematics study materials, that is from Vidhyaashram study materials, Vidhyaashram PU College. These are the two books which we are going to use for the reference. Now syllabus, the detailed syllabus. So in first PUC basic mathematics you are 4 units, you have 4 units, unit 1, 2, 3 and 4. So first unit contains algebra. The total number of hours for algebra is 64 hours. Unit number 2, unit 2 is nothing but the commercial arithmetic, which is of 28 hours syllabus. And unit number 3, third unit is trigonometry, which is very less for 10 hours. Only basics you are going to study in trigonometry. Whereas analytical geometry, so here also you are going to study analytical geometry for 18 hours. So this syllabus is divided into 4 parts: first, second, third, fourth. First part is algebra, second part is commercial arithmetic, and third part is trigonometry, and the fourth part is analytical geometry. So these are the 4 parts in basic mathematics, that is algebra, commercial arithmetic, trigonometry as well as analytical geometry. So this is very easy concepts. Now let us come to the division of syllabus. So in algebra, how many chapters we are going to study and what are the number of hours and what is the weightage for this? So in algebra we are going to take for 64 hours, and here there are 7 chapters in algebra. So these chapters you might have been studied in your previous classes like 8th, 9th and 10th standard. The revision of all those things we are going to study in this algebra part. So the first one is the number theory. Here you are going to find the HCF, LCM and the greatest common factor and some complex numbers. Whereas in sets, relations and functions, so for number theory the number of teaching hours is 8 and the total mark pledges is 10 marks. 10 marks for number theory. And this is very important and simple chapter, that is sets, relations and functions. So here you are going to study regarding the different types of sets and the construction of sets and operations on sets like union, intersection, difference, as well as the functions and different types of functions. For this the weightage is equal to 15 marks. This is very important chapter. 15 marks is the important chapter, is sets, relations and functions. And the third one is theory of indices. You might have been studied laws of indices. So for that the marks will be 4 marks and the number of teaching hours is also 4. And the next chapter is logarithms. Here also you are going to study basic logarithmic properties, laws of logarithms and the problems based on this. And this is also important. This will carry around 9 marks. And the next very important chapter is the progressions. This you might have been studied in your 10th standard or 9th standard, AP, GP and HP. And those things we are going to study, and the weightage for this is 15 marks. So this is also very important chapter. So sets, relations and functions and the progressions are very important. That will carry 15, 15, totally 30 marks. And the next important chapter is also theory of equations. So you might have been studied theory of equations. So here the marks are allotted for this chapter is 13, and the last one is the linear inequality. So that is the graph. Here the marks will be 6 marks for this. So among these 7 chapters, the very important chapters are sets, relations and functions for 15 marks, progressions for 15 marks, and then theory of equations for 13 marks. So totally 30 plus 13 is 43 marks you will get from these 3 chapters itself. Okay, the PUC package will be from these 3 chapters. If you read these 3 chapters, you are going to get more than 40, the PUC package. Now let us come to the next one, the second unit. Unit number 2 is the commercial arithmetic. Here it can, so for this we are going to take 28 hours. So the first chapter we are going to study is simple interest and the compound interest. You might have been studied in your arithmetic, SI, and simple interest as well as the compound interest. So the marks allotted for this is 8 marks. Next chapter is the annuities. For this it is also important chapter, that is 10 marks, and the averages, for this it is 4 marks. You will get 1 question from this averages, and percentage profit and loss, for this also that marks will be 9, and the last one is linear functions. For this the marks will be 6. So among these chapters, the very important chapters are simple interest and compound interest, as well as the annuities. For this you will get the maximum marks, and even for percentage, finding the percentage profit and the loss. So these are the few chapters which we are going to study in commercial arithmetic, that is simple interest and compound interest, annuities, averages, percentage profit and loss, as well as the linear functions. Now coming over to the third unit. In the third unit, this is very important unit and very simple unit also, that is trigonometry. It will have 10 hours. For in trigonometry you are going to study only the 2 concepts, that is angles on trigonometrical ratios. You might have been studied this in your 10th standard. For this the marks will be 9 marks, and the standard angles and allied angles, for this it will be 6 marks. So totally for trigonometry we will have only 15 marks from trigonometry part, that is from unit 3. Now coming over to the last part, the very important part also, that is called analytical geometry. So the maximum number of hours allotted for this is 18 hours. Here also you are going to study only 3 chapters, that is coordinate system in a plane. You might have been studied this in our previous classes, finding the distance between any 2 points. So that is the coordinate system of a plane, for that 7 marks, and the locus and its equation, different equations of the straight lines we are going to study, and the straight line. So that will also carries 3 and 12 marks. So the very important chapter here is straight lines. So different types of straight lines and the problems connecting to this we are going to study in a straight line. So totally this will also carries 7 plus 3 is 10 plus 12 is 22 marks. So 22 marks from this analytical geometry. So in analytical geometry, for coordinate geometry we have 3 chapters: coordinate system, locus and its equation, and a straight line. Now these are the 4 divisions which you are going to study in first PUC basic mathematics. Hope you followed. Now you got an idea. Now let us come to the question paper pattern. As usual, question paper pattern will consist of 1 mark questions, 2 marks questions, 3 marks questions, and 5 marks question, and last 6 marks plus 4 marks, very long answer essay type question. So 10 mark question. So here let me explain. In 1 marker questions there are 12 questions, in that you are going to answer for 10. So 10 out of 12, 10 out of 12 in 1 mark, so you will get 10 marks. Again for 2 markers, so you are going to answer 10 out of 13 questions, 10 questions out of 13, so that is 20 marks. Again for 3 markers, so you are going to answer 10 out of 13, that's equal to 30 marks. And even for 5 marker questions, this is essay type questions. So essay type questions you are going to answer 6 questions out of 10 questions, 6 out of 10, 5 6 are 30. And the last very long answer type questions, 2 questions will be there, in that you are going to answer only 1 question out of 2, that is of 6 plus 4 marks pattern. One is for 6 marks, another one is for 4 marks. So this is the question paper pattern for your final examination. 1 mark 10 questions, 2 marks 10 questions, 3 marks 10 questions, and 5 marks 6 questions, and 10 marks 6 plus 4 1 question. So totally 100 marks. So number of questions you are going to answer is 37 questions out of 50 questions. So 13 choice questions will be right. This is how the question paper appears in the examination. Now let us coming to the last concept, the blueprint. What is a blueprint for this? For all the chapters, the blueprint will be like this. Number theory, that is in algebra, for number theory, we will have 1 mark question, 2 marks question, 3 marks question. So no 5 and 4. So only 1 mark, 3 marks and 2 marks question, totally 10 marks. For sets, relations and functions, you will have 1 mark question, 2 marks, 3 marks, 4, 5. All types of questions are there in sets, relations and functions. Whereas in theory of indices, only you will get 1 mark 1 question, 3 mark 1 question, totally 4 marks, no 2 marker. Again in logarithms, 1 mark 1 question and 3 marks 1 question and 1 5 marks questions, totally 9 marks. Then whereas in progressions, all type of questions are appeared here, 1 mark, 2 marks, 3 marks and 5 marks. Whereas in theory of equations, you will get 1 mark 1 question and 2 marks 2 questions, 3 marks 1 question, no 4 marks question and 1 5 marks question. So here in this only 1 4 mark question from progression. So that is for essay type. 6 plus 4. For part E, you will get 1 question from progressions and 1 question from sets, relations and functions. Now coming over to this second unit, that is commercial arithmetic. In commercial arithmetic, so you will have 4 chapters, 5 chapters, linear inequalities. For linear inequalities, so you will have 1 mark question, then 4 mark 1 question, not 1 mark, 2 marks and 4 marks, totally 6 marks. Simple interest and compound interest, for this we have 1 mark question as well as 3 marks question and 5 marks question, totally 9 marks for this. Annuities, for annuities we have 10 marks, 1 5 marks, 1 4 marks and 1 mark question. 5 marks, 4 marks and 1 mark question. Whereas for averages, we will have only 2 marks 2 questions, no 1 mark 2 marks, nothing. And for last chapter, for profit, percentage and loss, you will have 1 mark question and 1 3 marks question and 1 5 marks question, totally 9 marks. Now coming over to this third unit, trigonometry. In trigonometry, there are 3 chapters, linear functions, angles and their ratios and the standard angles. So here for the linear functions, we will have 6 marks, whereas purely trigonometry, for trigonometry there are 2 chapters, angles and trigonometrical ratios and standard angles. For this we will have 15 marks, 9 plus 6. And the last concept is the coordinate geometry. In coordinate geometry, you have 3 chapters only. For the coordinate system of a plane, 7 marks, and locus and its equation, 3 marks. For straight lines, we will have 12 marks. So in coordinate geometry, you are going to get 1 mark question from locus and 2 marks questions, 2 marks questions, 2 marks 4 questions from each one part, that is 1 question from coordinate system, locus and 2 questions from straight lines. Whereas you will get only 2 questions for 5 markers, that is 1 from coordinate system, another one is from straight line. So these are the question paper pattern and the blueprint for the chapters. Now here, so main concept is the 4 marker question will be appeared only in 4 chapters, that is sets, relations and functions, progressions, then linear inequalities and annuities. Whereas 5 marks questions appears in these chapters, that is sets, relations and functions, then logarithms and then progressions and theory of equations. Whereas in second linear inequalities, no 5 marks questions. So the remaining 2 chapters, simple interest and annuities, you will get 1 question, and averages no 5 marks question. And whereas in percentage and loss, you will get 1 5 marks question. Angles and their measurements in trigonometry, you will get 1 5 marks question. And whereas in coordinate system, you will get 1 5 marks question, and in one straight line, you will get 1 5 marks question. So these are the distribution of marks for this syllabus. So that's all regarding this session. This is the distribution of weightage of marks and the blueprint for the question paper. So regarding first PUC basic mathematics, that's all regarding today's session. Let us meet with the concepts in the next session. Thank you very much.